Hey, welcome back. This is Modern Business Podcast. I'm Ryan Hicks, and I wanted to bring you a quick story and also an update. I haven't shared this much on the podcast, but I wanted to give you an update on my experience with coronavirus because I contracted coronavirus back on the 15th of May. And I've shared this a lot over on LinkedIn. I've shared this on Instagram. You can follow me on both places, by the way, at Ryan Thomas Hicks. But I got coronavirus on the 15th, and I can say that I have fully recovered to the tune of I'm now going on regular runs. I've worked my way up to a 5K. I'm feeling very good, very strong. So a word of inspiration for the vast majority of the population, folks that don't have bad underlying conditions and folks that are below a certain age. This virus is a scary thing, but it is something that can easily be overcome. There's a lot of panic. There's a lot of fear out there around this thing. You know, it was a bit of a surreal experience for me. Imagine I'm laying in bed. You know, I feel like I have 45-pound weights on my arms and on my legs, and I'm achy and I'm tired. I'm starting to break a fever, and I'm watching the news, and this virus has shut down the entire economy. And, there's uncertainty around how long will this last? Do I need to go to the hospital and all those things? But I made it through. And I can say, again, as a word of inspiration, this thing is, just imagine having the flu. That's really what it was for me. And I know that a lot of people can get worse symptoms, but I just wanted to share my story because it was something that was a little scary if you were to think about it. But I didn't even miss any conference calls. A lot of our clients were turning to us for extra help during this time to use social channels as a way to communicate with their customers. And so I didn't even miss meetings or anything as such. And I didn't really share it much with the folks closest to me. I don't think my team knew for an entire week because I'm here in Dallas and the team is in Irvine. But I'm a survivor, and it's safe to say that it's almost a funny thing trying to shed light on the situation whenever I get on my Zoom happy hour calls. I like to do those. If you want to join sometime, we have some really great franchise folks that hop on typically every week, and I bring Corona to the party. But I'm a survivor, so I wanted to just share that experience because I went through it, and I haven't really talked in depth to the audience here. I did an episode on a podcast called Success Made to Last, where they brought me on and had me share kind of what I did in terms of from a medicine and diet perspective, and just shared my outlook and perspective. And so I can link to that in the show notes if you're interested in listening. It's only 15 or so minutes, but we got into a lot of good stuff as well as mindset, because it's you have to keep a mindset and an attitude throughout all of this, especially if you catch the virus. But anyways, wanted to share that. The second thing I want to share is I wanted to share a narrative, a storyline that has emerged within our customer base and within the brands that have reached out to us. So whenever I had really the conscious awareness, because we're just trugging through trying to help people, offering payment deferrals and offering no charge services during this tough time, because a lot of brands are absolutely decimated and it's tough to see, and we're in a situation to help, and that's the spirit that we bring to it. But so flashback this week, I'm recording this on a Thursday, but it's Monday of this week, and this is when the conscious realization struck. It's 8:30 a.m. I'm on a Zoom call, and I have no hat on, and my hair is going crazy, so I grab a hat and throw it on to try to look like a normal human being. And I'm speaking with some marketers, a marketing team for a brand, and the first thing that they turned off, this brand is not a brand that can do delivery, so they're essentially completely shut down, and their revenues are turned off, and that's a very tough situation. But obviously in that case, the first thing they do from a marketing perspective is you shut down your paid spend budget, and because you can't have folks coming into your business, so why are you running ads and paid ads and all that? And naturally, the next thing that they wanted help with from us, because we're really the organic side is our focus, is they wanted help with the organic management, the community building and engagement, turning to social channels as a means to meet their customers, because now the consumer is spending more time than ever before on social platforms. They're sitting there scrolling literally for like hundreds of hours a week on social media. Maybe not hundreds of hours a week, because there's only 168 hours in a week, but you get the point. People are spending a lot of time on social. There's also a lot of fun memes and all this and that are going around social, but people want to support local businesses. They want to support small businesses. And so now is a time that you can double down on your local organic message that you're sending out to your folks. And so I've sat on tons and tons of panels and in meetings and on calls with agencies. And, for the past 2 years, 3 years, I've sat here and listened to all these marketers preach the necessity for absolute quantifiable ROI for any dollar spent on social and for any time, energy, effort, and program on social. But it turns out that paid ads are not the end all be all. And so we're seeing that with brands shutting down the ad component of their business and turning to these organic channels, because you want to build that engagement so that when you turn the spigot back on, you have folks that you can then go target directly and put the message in front of. And so having that engagement helps. And what I wanted to do is just break down Marketing 101. What are the 3 main types of traffic that you can get into your business? Because they fall in 3 main buckets. It's highly fragmented across all these channels and marketing avenues, but there are only 3 fundamental ways that you get traffic to your business. The first is you buy it, and that is your paid ads. That could be digital ads, that could be radio ads, that could be billboards. Some people still do that. Direct mail. You essentially have to go buy that. You buy those eyeballs, you buy that traffic. The second type of traffic that you can get into your business is traffic that you control. And the control portion is really the kind of the PR focus, the PR slant. Because whether it's an agency partner doing the reach outs for you or a combination, you can go get on podcasts. You can get in front of your prospective buyer, and you can go get in front of audiences by doing those types of collaborations. And then obviously from a PR perspective, you have articles and magazines and online and all the rest. And so that's traffic that you control. The third type of traffic is traffic that you own. And in my opinion, that's the most valuable traffic, because those are your customers. Those are people that are like-minded and aligned with your brand. So whether it's your email newsletter, whether it's your blog, if you have folks that pay attention to what you put out there. Another owned avenue is a lot of brands don't have it, but a text-based platform. I'm super green on text message capabilities to communicate with your customers, and there are emerging some really great platforms for that, to where you can have one-to-one humanized conversations at scale, and leveraging AI and some certain things to be able to segment your base and read and text them from a real number as opposed to like 44736, right? And so if you want recommendations on that, I've got some recommendations that I can make, and I would recommend it. But the other type of avenue that you own is your social channels, right? Your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, all of the different social channels that you have as a business. And the fundamental problem, as I've mentioned before, a lot of these kind of industry experts, marketers, like marketing experts, they're always preaching, quantifiable ROI, and they can't quite get a grasp on the value of building an organic social presence and engagement and local engagement and all that, because it's tough to quantify back the ROI. And the kind of the fundamental problem that they address is what I call the algorithm problem. And that is that as any social platform matures, there is a significant decrease in organic reach because they want you to do paid ads. But I'm here to tell you that there are the things that brands are pivoting to, which are very smart. There are ways in which you can essentially hack the system and get that organic engagement that you need and that you want. And by the way, this can also tie directly back in directly quantifiable ROI when done appropriately. And so I just wanted to share that number one perspective, and then number two, what we are doing at Rallyo, a program that we've launched, and we're making this available to brands right now. Like, underscore this, we're making this available to brands for no cost, okay? This is a program that we're just giving because we want to do our part to help. And so we've been working on this program called Activate for 6, 7, 8 months. Since we were on the summer tour is actually when the idea came into being with the team, and we were communicating then, and we hired up more developing talent to be able to execute it. And right when this pandemic happened, we entered into beta with it, and we've seen phenomenal results. And now we've had to obviously pivot, but this in terms of offering this because brands don't have the budget to be able to roll it out. So we're doing our part to give this away, and there's no strings attached with it. But what we're doing to address the algorithm problem that marketers historically have seen in terms of not wanting to put energy and effort into building that third component, which is the owned channels of your social presence. What we're doing is we're tapping into your employees and we're tapping into your customers and essentially putting a brand advocate program in place, okay? And so we call it micro influencers, people who love your brand, people who love to do business with you, and people who are essentially, for lack of a better word, are net promoters of your brand, but they're not yet real promoters. And so how do we get them to put your offers, your message, your story onto their personal feeds, right? On Facebook. If you've ever sat there and scrolled Facebook, you see the same posts oftentimes over and over again when a new friend comments or whatever it is. That's because the organic reach is significantly higher on the personal page. And so the question becomes, how do we get business content, business page content, brand content onto personal pages? And the way that we've creatively addressed this is we've created a program that can turn around and allow you to put brand approved content into a bucket, right? Maybe there's 5 posts or 8 posts or 10 posts or 10 assets that you want to make available. And then what we do, and we track all of this and manage all this for you. There's actually no software that you need from a franchisee level or a franchisor level to be able to execute this. But all you have to do is put up a little budget for gift cards. So imagine like a Visa gift card. And let's say that gift card is $100 or $200. And for the next month, we're going to run a program and say that for the folks that have the most either reach or engagement, we can have different metrics. But for the folks that basically win, we distribute the gift card automatically and it's emailed to them. And so we're facilitating the mechanism by which you can reduce the friction in terms of having people share your stuff, but then also provide the incentive for them to do it. And then we're tracking it and automatically giving the reward. And so we call this Activate. And it's about taking brand content and having it grassroots out there on personal pages. And so we've launched this on the employee side first. So if I look at it, I think of like, imagine a dartboard. In the middle, you have the bullseye, right? That's your customer. And then on the next ring around that, and not necessarily an exact dartboard, but if you imagine rings, but the next ring around that, those are your employees. That's the core that we want to activate with this program. And we want thousands of these shares and these stories out there because it turns out that people are friends with like-minded people and people live in a community and those people in their community see this content. And so this is a way that we can explode organic engagement and explode organic reach and explode the number of impressions that your brand is seeing, build goodwill, do all of those things. And it is a very cost-effective way for you to be able to get the narrative out there without spending paid ads. We just did a study that shows a correlation, though, for the brands that have, we took a brand where we have 600 locations are on our platform, on our technology, and we have 56 of them on our local program where we're doing this content and doing this local engagement. And we did, for an entire year, we did a study where we compared all of the core metrics, obviously following count, engagement, and all of those things that marketers like to call vanity metrics, right? But then what we did is we took their website traffic, we took their lead conversions, lead generation, lead conversions. We took their employee recruitment applications and conversions, and the numbers were crazy in terms of the folks that had the thriving organic presence, even SERP rankings and SEO and all that, because social signals play a huge role more and more and more and as well as reviews, which is another component of our platform. But they play a role in how you show up on your feeds, on the local search presence. And so we did a study, and all of those, like, we're talking significant boosts and even website traffic visits and all of it for the people who had a local strategy and a local organic presence program in place. And so what the opportunity, I think, for this audience here is to look at this as a time to hunker down and button up some of these programs that you can put in place, not only to get the message out now, but when you get to go back live, that you're not only have that owned channel that you can keep building and growing from an engagement perspective and a following and a community building perspective, but then when you redeploy ads, it becomes significantly more effective for all the core metrics of your business. So this is something that we've been advocating for a long time, that you cannot ignore the organic side. This COVID-19 craziness has exposed that, because the first thing that people are cutting is their marketing budget. I'm actually not an advocate for that. I'm not saying don't do one or the other. If you have the means to double down right now you can buy traffic for less money than ever before. Maybe not ever before, but less money than before all this happened. And so if you have that capability, you can build your brand through paid advertising. But what I'm suggesting is that you need all three of these components. And right now, the second and the third are the ones that a lot of the clients that we're working with are pivoting to. Lastly, I'll note that the other thing that we at Rallyo are doing is we're helping brands, even if they already have other programs in place, we're helping them on a strategy perspective, because we serve clients in all different sectors, and we have a lot of those best practices. So even if you just want to do a strategy call, we're not in the business of trying to sell to franchisors in this tough time, and we're not asking for money in return. Luckily, we have it as such to where we have the capacity to help, and we want to help. We want to be a resource to our franchisors. We've been in the franchise world since 2013, and this is our core reason for being as a business, is to help franchise brands thrive. And so for us, it's all about helping franchisors have happier, successful, and more profitable franchisees. We bleed that, and in this tough time, we're a resource. So I wanted to do this quick podcast because I don't typically do self-promoting things, but for me, I would be remiss if I did not share this message. I hope this, on the first part of the podcast, I hope it inspired a couple people to reduce some of your fear around this coronavirus personally. Obviously, you need to maintain social distancing and all the best practices. But I just wanted to share my story because I thought it might inspire a couple people, and I wanted to share the storyline that we've seen throughout all of our clients and all the calls that our amazing team has been doing. And I wanted to share our Activate program. And if you would like to explore whether Activate is right for you, I think it could fit pretty much any brand. But if you want to explore like what it would take in terms of a hands-off perspective, it's frictionless. There's not a ton of training, and we can literally benchmark the locations that participate in this versus the non-participating. And when we emerge from this, we have a data story that we can share, and we'd love to win your business after that. But until then, we're here to help. Let us work for you. And we can go put this program in place for you without your team, who I understand is highly taxed right now. Let us step in and be of service. So thank you very much, guys, for listening. Be sure that you subscribe. Also, we have a newsletter on our podcast that we send out and gives cliff notes on the great content. We've got a ton of really great guests lined up as we're about to really step up the content that we're putting out, from franchisors sharing, experience sharing to their community. We also are working with the team over at franchisors.com, which is the umbrella that has Unconference, Springboard, and Young Conference. So we're doing a Springboard series every single week. We're doing a live call, and then we'll send out and publish the recording over on franchisors.com. Tons of great content, but yeah, be sure you look for that, as well as subscribe to Modern Business Podcast. Thank you very much for listening, guys. Hope you are safe. Hope you are well. Hope you're finding the seed of opportunity in this really hard time. Hope you're getting a lot of time with family, and you're really maintaining a good attitude as we look to pull out of this. But thank you so much for listening, guys. Cheers.